All right, so we're starting our call tonight. We're going to start with a win from everybody. You can start, Linda.
Um, my wins are that I came back and fell right into my routine, which, you know, that's a win. It's like the proof's in the pudding, basically. Um, it's really part of my routine now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To to get back into like, okay, start tracking again, just, whatever. And it was a win that I completely disassociated from the tracking and not worrying so much about my workouts, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You were able to
And
enjoy yourself.
yeah, and proving to myself, you see, it's doable, and you don't completely, everything gets shot to hell because you went on a 1 week vacation. The
And it,
progression stays, and I think that's a huge win to it's a reinforcement. I knew it, but it's kind of always being reinforced as I'm doing these things that are off of my program. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's why we
Yeah.
established the lifestyle. And it's funny because it's the topic of our conversation tonight. It's like
Ah, well,
the
there you go.
all or nothing like mindset, like a lot of people
Yeah,
get stuck in that. So that there's proof there that you can go and enjoy yourself
absolutely.
and not lose all
Absolutely.
your results. So
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 It's really been reinforced. Like, it takes your brain a certain amount of time to register certain things. And this is one of them. That's just the way the brain works. And it's as you do things more often. When you teach somebody, you have to repeat stuff. Well,
yeah.
it's the same thing. You have to repeat it to prove it to yourself until you start realizing, and your body stays where it wants to stay because now it's feeling better or whatever. So they're great mindset wins, and whatever, physical wins, whatever you want to call them. so that's uh, so that's it.
I think she muted herself.
Did I?
I had
No,
I
she
had
did.
to mute myself because I don't know. Every time at this time someone decides to ring my doorbell, it's almost like,
Oh,
and then
I
Callie was
thought
going crazy.
it's okay.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
great
that's it.
win. Is that so? It's been a while that you felt this way, like you were able to reset
Yeah,
the life and routine.
I think the first time I really noticed it is when I went to Italy, because Italy was a big one because there's so much drinking and food, and although we did our activities and whatever, but there's a lot. It's completely different than what we do here daily as a structure, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first when I came back, and I'm like, okay, see, nothing happened to my body, and I feel great, and I was able to do what I had to do, and I still enjoyed my life. So yeah,
It's like, but like that, what I meant is like this period of your life while you were in the program, these are some of the skills that you're pulling
yeah,
away from. Okay. No,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely,
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy for you.
yeah.
That's like
Thanks.
that's a huge win because it's like skills that you just meant the mental skills of being able to be resilient and also allow yourself to have fun because a lot of times people because they're in that all or nothing mindset, they won't allow themselves to go to one extreme. And if they do,
Right.
they're like, screw it, I'm not doing anything. So it's like it's great that you have that you found the balance and it's working for you and it's proof
Yeah.
you come back and you don't gain like 10 pounds or 5 pounds. You come back
No.
very
I'm
stable,
stable.
enjoying yourself. So that's great.
Yeah.
It's a huge win.
Yeah.
Jill, did you want to share a win?
Sure. I was trying on clothes today so not this week to bring to pack just to make sure they still fit. And I tried on a pair of pants that hadn't fit me in a couple of months and I put them on and they fit. So
Nice.
yeah, so I was really happy. And like Linda, we planning, Harry and I, is to still do our 10,000 steps minimum, and also to work out every weekday, even if it's just a half an hour, 20 minutes, a half an hour, we're still going to get it done.
Which I'll program for you in the app and everything else will be.
Yeah, like during Christmas, and I went on a cruise from January 6th to the 20th or something. I came back in reality, I'd only gained 3 pounds, and that was through the holidays, you
Mm-hmm.
know, from the beginning of December all the way to the end of January and doing all that. So it does work, like you say, the
Yeah.
mindset.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, now last week our challenge, Linda only came back afterwards, but we did a challenge of, okay, this week we're going to do meal prep challenge and share our
Yeah.
wins and share like our meals. How did that go for you guys? I saw Jilda's meal prep. Linda posted too.
Yeah. Well, my meal preps are very basic.
Yeah.
I just make sure I have what I need, and I just added because I do get the meals sent to me for my lunches, so I don't have to think about, because or else I'm making too many meals. And I prep my breakfast and my suppers. I had tried the tofu. I
Nice.
seasoned the extra firm tofu because, and I seasoned it with like, spice, like I made it spicy and I put it in the oven and it was great, and I did 3 meals with it, with that. And tonight I have some quinoa left and quinoa is not my favorite thing. It's not my go-to, but I try it and I'm going to add the things I like to it. And I'm going to make a simple like salad tonight with it. So
Nice.
it was a small, for me, they're small preps. One is already prepped. I order them, they come in. My macros are all counted, high in protein and stuff. Breakfast, I prep. And suppers, the way I prep is, I just make sure I have what I need. And I do pre-plan, but I do it, I don't do the whole week. I go 24 hours before.
That's fine.
I set my, yeah. And this way, I don't feel overwhelmed of like, oh my God, I don't feel like eating that. It's 24 hours before. I check my fridge. Okay, that's what I'm eating tomorrow night.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's perfect. And like
Yeah,
because you don't have to make a whole bunch of meals, you're just figuring out one and you already have an idea
exactly.
and you're not
Exactly.
like
It's
at the
different.
last
It's different. I'm one person.
yeah,
It's different.
and
Yeah,
you make sure you have the ingredients of what you want to make.
exactly. Exactly.
Okay, that's great. And I'm sure you
Yeah.
repeat a few meals too, right?
Oh yeah, I'm very for me, I don't care as long as it's food and
It tastes good and
yeah, it tastes good and whatever. It's habitual. I'm okay eating the same thing every day.
Mm.
yeah, it's I'm very similar. I like
Yeah.
I might mix things up in dinners or weekends, but like I like keeping things really simple and
Yeah, very simple.
changing the flavors is a good way of doing it. The
Yes.
marinades or the
Yes,
sauces.
absolutely.
You can change anything to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have somebody joining. So, let me see. Hey, Sandra. All right, so what I'm gonna do is
Hi.
oh, hi. We're just sharing quick wins. You have a win for us?
Hold on a second. Quick wins. Um, I guess I'm being more conscious with my food preps, so that's good. And I did two strength workouts that
Nice.
I wanted to do, so I'm progressing well on those. And yeah, meal preps. Like even this morning, I'm like, oh, let me prepare my lunch so that's ready. Usually, I don't do that when I'm home. So, and
Amazing.
I'm doing my oats the night before. I've done it twice. So yeah, I think it's sinking in.
It's amazing. We were just talking about that earlier with Linda. Like, it's a process. It takes time. Sometimes you're gonna pick up on something at one point, and then maybe many months later you pick up something else, and it clicks after repetition, right?
Yeah,
Linda
yeah.
said the same thing. It's like learning something. You might have to hear it a few times, or you might try it in different ways, and then all of a sudden it clicks, and that's the magic of the whole process. So I'm going to just go over, it's a very quick presentation talking about the all or nothing mindset, and then we'll go back to chatting a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so what I really wanted to talk about, well, let me just highlight me. Yeah, so what I want to talk about on this presentation is basically the all or nothing mindset, which often will hold a lot of people back on their fitness journey. We always feel like, you might set a goal for yourself, and oftentimes once you decide something in your head, we all get excited and we get anxious and we want those results and we want them yesterday. So what happens is sometimes people will just go all in on something and then they find out that it's a little bit harder to sustain it by doing everything all at once. And they get frustrated and they find it's too much and then they sort of give up, So basically that's the same thing with people who go on diets and they're not being coached properly. That's They'll try a diet, they'll do something extreme, they might cut out all carbs, or they might, do whatever they think that's going to get them their results faster, and they crash and burn. And then that's the whole thing with like the off and on, or the all or nothing. What it basically trains you to think about the whole journey is that it's too hard, and it's not sustainable. So my approach to coaching is the anti-diet. It's the lifestyle, it's the mindset training to get you on a path of always training yourself to look at what you're doing well. Why we get on calls, and I ask you right off, like, what are your wins? Because I want you to focus on what's going well, because you can always, what you look at and what you focus on becomes amplified. It's the same thing when you're driving. If you look at a spot, your car's going to turn in that direction. So I always want us to veer to what we are in control of and what is going well. So when we're starting out, like, you want to have that little step-by-step thing. Once you're in momentum, same thing. You might have started and let's say you're getting good at something, then you can start building on the next task. That's why when we start, like, in terms of nutrition, we'll start with, okay, just hit your calories, get used to tracking, get really good at that. Okay, great. Next step, we're going to try to hit your protein. Boom, that starts to happen for you. Start to win, accumulate. Then you go the next step. Okay, so now I'm going to start looking at the fat, start lowering the fat a little bit to get to that number. And then we're trying to hit our carbs afterwards. So it all starts with your goal, having a strategy, being flexible, right? So that if life has like certain things that come your way, being able to manage it and ride the wave so that you're not like giving up because of whatever comes your way, right? We're all going to have things that come up, whether it's, physical, getting sick, having to tend to a family member, or life gets stressful, or you have a different life situation. When you develop that mindset that you can still keep going and not have to give up on all of your personal goals just to tend to life's like ups and downs, that's when you win. That's how you sustain this lifestyle, and that's how you see progress. So as a coach, it's a fine line for me. That's why we have to have an open communication. You have to tell me what's going on. You have to tell me when you're struggling. You have to tell me when you're winning. Because my job is to help you raise your standards. So when you come in, you'll have like a goal. To get to that goal, we have to raise your standards a little bit. We have to establish habits that we start to stack. And then having those standards, we start to look at, okay, what are the non-negotiables that you can get done this week? And it's all about adjusting. So like if that week you found, well, that was a little bit too much on my plate, well, then we adjust. Same thing. So let's say I design a phase in your training program, and we allot a certain amount of time or a certain amount of days, and then you get really busy and you feel like, well, I can't do that whole workout. So you just say, okay, screw it, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just not going to work out. Instead, what you can do is you go in and you do the first, let's say, 3 exercises. That's still a huge win. And then if it's more than a short period of time and you need a bigger adjustment, I can go in and cut those workouts for you. But it doesn't mean that you have to skip your workout altogether. So it's like, again, like if you think like I have to go and kill myself and do the whole thing, or I do nothing, choose what you can do, right? So it's always going to be a fine line, and it's going to be, is it life circumstances that's holding you back? Or is it that you just don't feel like moving? You know, like you're gonna always have to, you're gonna be the one that has to judge that situation, you know? So there has to come a lot of self-reflection and honesty with where you're, you know, where you're capable at, what you're capable of and where you are in your life. So same thing, nutrition. We have flexible dieting, right? You can eat what you want. We're going to try to hit those macros in terms of where you are on the journey. Are we just hitting the calories, or are we at one point a little bit more intermediate or advanced where you're trying to hit your numbers a little bit more precisely? So let's say you want to have some fun food. We start scheduling some fun meals, right? You have some cookies. Like, are you able just to have a few cookies, or do you have to polish off the whole bag? You know, like those are things that you start to look at. Like, that becomes really like a big self-discovery as to, well, why? Like, you know, like why would you want to do that? And then if, let's say you did, happens to everybody, right? Like, let's say you did have one meal that you lost a little bit, you know, like I only want to have a drink or two, and you ended up having a half a bottle or, you know, more, and then you feel really bad about yourself. But the whole idea is like we all screw up, right? Like, so the whole idea is like, well, okay, I'm not happy with that. How can I fix that next time, right? So maybe next time you'll bring like some mocktails with you, or, you know, like you'll drink more water. And that way you're like, okay. And then you'll know, like, you'll remember how you felt and it wasn't in alignment with your goals. So then you say, well, I'm just going to have a glass, or I don't feel like drinking tonight. You know, like it's a lot of personal development in terms of being on a fitness journey. So also when you have progress, sometimes because we're doing this as a lifestyle, the progress may not show up as fast as you would like, right? I can get everybody crazy results in a short amount of time, but you know, with extreme, like let's say when like I've done a competition, you know, like there's a lot of restrictions. Like there's no 80-20 on those situations, right? But it's not really a way to live. A lot of people, you know, rebound after that, right? That way of living. But the progress might take a little bit longer, and that's where patience has to come in. And you might have to say to yourself, look, like I did give myself more leeway. I wasn't 5% off my macros, I was more like 20% off. Then okay, I didn't get the results I was looking for, but you know what, I'm going to raise my standards a little bit. Like I said, like you know, I had 3-4 drinks last week. That's something that I can cut. You know, I can cut it down to one, let's say. Or for a few weeks I'm going to cut it out altogether because I want to see a little bit more momentum. So it's like self-talk like that that really helps move the needle. Same thing with recovery. You know, say you miss a workout and you're like, oh my God, you know, I missed 1 or 2 workouts, so I'm just gonna forget it. I'm just not gonna work out at all. You know, it's another mindset like of breaking from that all or nothing mindset. And same thing with tracking. So let's say you had, you know, you were started tracking your food and you're like, you missed a couple days. So instead of saying, oh yeah, I just kind of, you know, missed out on that, well, I'm just gonna pick up where I left off, and I'm going to pick up from now instead of saying, well, it's Wednesday, I'm going to wait till Monday to restart, you know? So that's again another idea of how to break that all or nothing mindset. And you're going to move the needle faster, like by just failing forward than just letting everything go. The most successful people on this planet, the most successful people in any kind of field, you name it, have failed the most. You have to be willing to fail, you know, and not expect perfection right off the bat. It's impossible. You can't have that way. So if you're always waiting for a perfect moment, perfect situation, before I do this, before I start that, I have to do this and that, or I'm really busy with work, I don't have the time. Like those things that you say to yourself, that's why you'll always be stuck, right? Whereas not you guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna make it work with my life, right? Like I'm traveling, I'm gonna take some bands, or let's say I'm traveling this week, I'm gonna take rest. You know, I'm not gonna work out like for that week, but I'm allowing myself. I'm not gonna come back feeling really bad. It's a lot of it is discussion with yourself and being in alignment with your goals. And as I was saying earlier, my job as a coach is to help you raise your standards. So there's a fine line, you know, with the all or nothing, right? And there's a fine line with giving yourself grace, but there's also, if I'm just like, it's okay, honey, don't do your work, like, like mom would say, it's okay, honey, don't do your workouts. It's okay, don't track, like I know it's hard, give yourself some time. There's a fine line of holding the standards and holding the mirror up to you with your goals, because everybody has different goals and everybody's going to have different standards that they're starting with. So it's a fine line of you telling me where you're at, and I'm not, you might be physically unable, or you might be going through migraines, or you might have some other physical setback. That's a discussion and that's a different situation, right? But if it's just, I don't feel like it, or I couldn't do it all, so I don't want to do anything, that's another situation, right? So that's why there's a lot of like mindset work that we both have to do as a team to make this work, right? So it's a lot about being honest and having self-reflection. So how do you overcome this all or nothing mindset thinking in fitness? Well, the first thing is awareness, catching yourself. Notice the words you say to yourself, like always, or never, or I ruined it, or, I'm not good enough, things like that. Like you have to notice your thoughts and rephrase how you talk to yourself. So when you're making any kind of extreme judgments, you know, you have to start to say, well, no, you have to rephrase how you speak. You also have to reframe small setbacks. Like instead of saying, I missed my workout, so I had a failed week, reframed it, reframe it and saying like one missed workout doesn't erase all your consistency over the course of time. Instead of saying I ate something off plan, so my diet is ruined, just shift it. It's like, well, one meal is not going to ruin all my progress. It's impossible. So consistency matters more, and I'm just gonna keep going. So like you want to embrace that 80/20 rule, like I still encourage you, like if there's something that you really like, don't refrain completely. If you have what I really want to see this goal, like this goal, body goal by this date, that's different. We have to tighten up the reins at that point, So it's all about time frames, goals, and being really honest with yourself. So you want to focus on progress and the journey of it, not perfection. A lot of time I've heard people say, I hate working out, but I do it anyways. Reframe how you say that. If you keep saying I hate working out, but I do it anyways, that's never going to be a part of you. Instead, try to find ways that you're going to like it. Like play your favorite music, put your, a scent in the background, or, what I'm saying? Like find an environment that you really like to be in, and that will make it enjoyable. And you want to be flexible, right? You want to be flexible, but you want to have a set schedule where you put it in your schedule. So it's like kind of like an appointment with yourself. But if things happen, you might need to move it, which is fine. Let's say you're trained and the next day you're really sore and you can't do the training. Okay. You can even do it in your own schedule and move it over. You just move it to the day that you think is going to work better. And if you have to cut down, let's say you had 4 or 5 workouts and you could only do 3 that week, that's okay. I can even cut them out for you. If you're that type of person that likes to see all those check marks, I don't mind. I'll go and delete it for you. It's just because you've had the communication to like go with the flow. It's perfectly fine, right? So you want to have a plan. You want to also like factor in unexpected things that will happen in your life, and making sure that you have certain standards. And as time goes on in your journey, you want to make sure that you are like raising those standards for yourself, but in a sense that you're still congratulating yourself for all the hard work like that you have achieved, and then from there, that's how you get your body to respond. That's how you get to that next level, because that overnight fast results that you expect, like a newbie will expect, or someone that's never been coached before will expect, well, if it didn't happen within the first month, I'm quitting. Not you guys. You guys have been trained. You guys have been working on yourselves. You guys have worked on mindset and self-development, that that you're building that unstoppable mindset of, shifting away from that all or nothing mentality, working on that mental health, because we're all going to have like really good days and we're all going to have really bad days, like physically and mentally. It's going to happen to all of us. So you just have to like, the more you have that lifeline and the anchor in your head, your mindset and your mind state, the easier the journey becomes. So homework will be start to like recognize your patterns and your thought processes, and focus on consistency over perfection. And like maybe do some self-reflection. Like, is there a part that you still, beating yourself up over not being perfect? And if you're not, let's say you have come and you've been coaching for a while and you're winning, then celebrate that. Celebrate how much, and Linda did that at the beginning of the call, how much things have changed for her since being in the program. She can go on these trips, and Jill just said the same thing. You can go on the trip, come back, and not feel like it's the end of the world because you're giving yourself grace to enjoy yourself, but at the same time, you're like keeping in your mind, I'm not going to just blow the bank. I'm not going to sit on my chair all the whole time and not move. I'm going to take the steps. I'm going to drink more water. Like all those habits, you stack them. And we're going to continue to stack the habits, right? So that's it. That's all. I'm gonna open up the floor for you guys to talk about like, your journeys, if you still struggle with that perfectionism or what your wins are. Linda's back. Does anybody want to share something? Jilda?
Oh, I'm getting better. I'm getting better, like you said. I used to have that all in or all out. Like, I mean, I would go on vacation, it was a free for all. Come back and be so depressed because I put on 10, like you said, put on 10 pounds. But now, I don't know if it's just because I have the app and, I have the exercises every day to do and the steps. And, I have my non-negotiables, my water, my steps, and my macros. And, it does work. There's no beating around the bush. It does work.
Yeah, those little to-do things to remind you, and it's like
Yeah.
the little
Yeah, not only that, it's just having the knowing in my mind. I've got the community, as you would say, right there at my fingertips. I mean,
community is huge.
yeah,
It's so important because like that's why there's some people that don't join the community. They just want to do their own thing. That's fine, but in my mind, you're missing out. It's like
right.
you're missing out once in a while. Like if you can't make the calls live, watch a replay or, go in and type and like share your meals, share your wins, share your struggles, because it makes how often can you share with like-minded women that are going through the same thing?
Exactly.
How often can you do that? Like, because people in your life, they're not always gonna get you. And a lot of times, when they see that you're trying to change, they're like, oh, you're fine the way you are. Like, why do you want to do that? Like, people resist you. And it could be a partner, it could be friends, it could be, like they just don't want to see you change. And there's a huge phenomenon about that, it's like, because if you change too much, it either rubs them the wrong way because then they have to look at themselves, or they're afraid to lose you, or you can just go on and on about that. So having people that say, no, this is not extreme, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not extreme, it's a lifestyle. And my whole idea is like, make it fun, find the love and the joy in it. And that's it. Like if you find the love and the joy, you never feel like you're working.
No, I love my workouts.
Yeah, you never feel like it's a chore because you're like, okay, this is fun,
No,
That's
it's my time.
win. That's a huge win.
Yeah, it is. It's my time. That's the way I look at it too. And it's true. I've had people say to me, well, at your age, do you really have to do all that? I mean, it's like, yeah, I want to be at this age. I want to be the same when I hit 80. I mean,
Yeah, it's like it's at your age, that, oof, boy.
Yeah.
It's
Hear
like
that a lot.
poof poof, like slap me across the face a couple times at your age. Just like boom,
Yeah.
boom. It's like,
And it's from nice people. It's not somebody, I don't think they mean it in a mean way. It's just, I don't know. you do get it. So you get it. You get what we're going through. So
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying sometimes, like when you do want to level up in any area of your life, sometimes people fade out a little bit and it becomes lonely. That's why I'm like, we have the community. It's like, you're not alone. And whatever you're doing, whatever goal you have, it's like you can tell me something like, hey, Katz, I would like to do, I don't know, a photo shoot in my bikini. Let's go. Like, why is that? Why is there anything wrong with that? Giving me some ideas, getting some ideas here. But yeah, the sky's the limit.
yeah, it is.
Linda,
Yeah,
anything that you want to share?
about I'm confused. I must have lost the track of
Oh,
because
okay.
you were cutting out a bit on mine.
Was I solid the
I
whole
don't know.
time?
I even asked a question. I didn't know if it was my phone or you were actually cutting out for everybody.
Did
So
anyone else get me cut out?
No.
No,
No.
okay,
oh, okay. Yeah, no,
could have
so
been me.
basically, I think you shared at the beginning anyways. Like you were able to
Yeah.
go to Tulum, do your workouts, enjoy yourself, not feel like,
Yeah, no, that what I did notice is that what has been although I wanted to just, just lie at the beach and do nothing or whatever, I felt like more of wanting to move this time. Okay, let's go for a walk. Like I would go out. I've always liked walking on the beach, but it always bothered me because my body would hurt a bit because of the unevenness and whatever. This time I was fine, I would take off. And the only reason I was walking back was because I'd be burning myself. That's the only reason,
right,
I didn't have cream anymore. I had needed to go back. So like one day I went off and like an hour later, my sister said, "Where'd you go?" I go, "I went walking, but I kind of lost track of the time." I was with my niece and we were just talking. And so there's a lot of little changes that I've noticed. And and I've always said it, this from the beginning. I've always said it. The biggest thing is the mindset.
Mm.
If the mindset is not set, I don't care what you're going to do. You're going to struggle. And that whole thing, like Jill was saying, like, why are you doing this at your age or whatever? It's because I feel like it. It's because if I feel good and I want to be healthy and I want to move forward healthy and I'm noticing people around me, like I'm looking at trips and I'm looking at trips that will include an area. That's why I like Tulum, because you walk a lot, and there's a lot of yoga classes or people outside running. It's a very active and artistic community. So I'm noticing I'm picking trips according to, you
your
know,
lifestyle, your new lifestyle.
yeah, the
Yeah.
lifestyle, and oh, what am I going to eat? And oh, what am I going to, like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've noticed that little shift as well. And I'm really happy about it because it's something I've always wanted to do and I'm doing it. So, that's fun for me.
That's a huge win, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And imagine if someone said to you, why would you do that at your age, like, and then let's say you believed it, like it's really
Yeah.
crazy that, yeah, we have to fight so much, one, as women,
Yeah.
and two, just like women when you're aging too. It's like, how do you feel like retain your youth and retain that vitality and overcome all the standards that society
Yeah.
put on you, and
Yeah.
Mm.
you're like, roar,
Yeah.
like have that powerful like mindset inside you that you're like, well, you could say what you want and I'm going to still do what I want.
Exactly.
Opinion of me doesn't really matter. What matters is how I feel and how I want to feel and how
Yeah.
I want to live my life. And if I want to feel strong, fit, sexy, wear what you want, like all the power.
Yeah.
You'll see on social media, if you go on it, like a woman that will be empowered, they'll get knocked down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll get knocked down. You'll see two sides. You'll see some women supporting and some women cutting down, and same thing. A lot of men will say negative things too, and it's like, imagine these keyboard warriors, but if you let that penetrate your mind as to how you feel about yourself, think about that.
Yeah,
Where's the mindset? You need to have that shield to saying, you know what, that's a reflection of you, not of me.
exactly.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of like self-worth, self-development, and confidence.
Yeah,
And it's what you want to get out of it is confidence, really.
yeah, yeah.
Who wants to go next? Just to share something. Marlene, do you want to?
I totally understand when the ladies were saying that, you know, you get the feedback of like, oh, why are you doing this? You're fine the way you are. And some people just don't get it, right? And we all get that because it's a journey for us, and this is what we want to do. We want to stay healthy and be healthy and go down the right track for all of us. So I totally get that. But my win for this week, I'm sorry I was late, ladies. I was with my family. My win this week, which I don't even know if it was last week as well, but was I got to do a push-up.
Amazing.
Hey.
You know how long that took me? I
Yes.
was like, I did a push-up.
You feel stronger.
It wasn't like a complete, it's from my knees, but that's a
Okay.
huge accomplishment for me. So,
You can
So I
work
was-
on negatives, you know. At one point, we
Yeah.
can talk about that, you know. But that's
Yeah.
a huge win. Amazing. Must
Yeah,
feel
that's what-
powerful, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. It was
But
like-
imagine if someone told you, why would you want to do a push-up at your age, you know?
oh
Not-
yeah. Yeah. Like, who
So-
cares at your age, you know, like you should have done that when you're in your 20s. Well, I couldn't do that then either, but hey, it's never too late.
There's a lot of times you see people reinvent themselves at any age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
You know, like that's the thing. We're like our lifespans is extended, you know, like back in, I don't know, let's say 100 years ago, people didn't live as long.
mm,
We are, right? So we're living longer, but do you want to live, you know, you're like into your older years with aches and pains and not be able to, you know, carry your own groceries or walk up the stairs or, you know, like, do you want to live like that? Not
mm,
me. No.
No. not at all.
No, not at all. So like for me, it's not just about, okay, I want to get rid of, lose weight. It's, you want to feel strong, powerful, have that longevity and energy and vitality, and also be an inspiration to people that aren't like super younger than you to say, hey, like it's possible, like don't give up and keep going and keep building upon the base that you have, right? And never let go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge win.
Yep.
Sandra? In terms of
Sorry, I was muted. In terms of changes, I think for me the biggest one is just like I always sort of ate balanced food, you know, and I don't think we eat well, but I think my consciousness of protein, that part of it really went up like with the last, you know, since November, since tracking and all that, like I'm so much more aware, like, oh, you know, of alternatives, of what I should be eating, of how much more protein. So that's really good.
good. And how have you come anywhere with the all or nothing mindset? Like, have you made progress? Like, not feeling like it has to be all or nothing?
God, story of my life, you know. Yeah, because I let life get, you know, I mean, I just have a lot of people pulling at me all the time. So I can't have the all or nothing. So yeah, I try, you know, I hear what you're saying. Do I give up? Like if I can't do certain, yesterday, like for example, I couldn't do all the exercises that you gave me because of my balance issues. There were some I'm just like, hell can't do that. You know, I'm going to fall and hurt myself. And I just said, okay. So I did sit-ups instead. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I was just like, I'm not going to, you know, it'll maybe show a little, did not do the exercise on the app. I don't give a shit. You know, I just said, but I'm doing something instead. So yeah, try not to get myself down about things.
There you go. That's overcoming the
Mhm.
all or nothing mindset. You still managed to get it done.
Yeah,
And
I did it late. I did like the morning, something happened in the morning, so I had to, anyways, I couldn't do the workout. I was not happy because I knew that if I did in the morning, I would have gotten done. So I did it late last night, and then I made a late dinner, and okay, I paid the price for it, but it's like I was so happy to get my workout in. I just felt really good that way. And in pain this morning, but that's okay.
that's good though. Like that's a huge win.
It's good pain.
Whereas you
Yeah,
might
it's a
have in
good
the
pain.
past, you might have said, "Oh, it's too late. I'm not going to do it." Like I can't do the whole
Mm.
thing, so why do it at all? So there, like that's I love hearing this. This is like to me success.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, okay, so I was asking people to give me their form videos because we're still doing that. Like
I haven't done.
if you have exercises that you want me to go over, Sandra, is it okay if we go over yours that you submitted?
Sorry, I'm muting myself because I don't want to make noise.
Is it okay if we go
Yeah,
over?
yeah, that's fine. No, I hear you.
Oh,
My dog just went and dirtied all the carpet with his muddy paws. So,
oh.
anyhow, yeah, somebody let him in. I'm not gonna, it wasn't me. It
Can I
wasn't
go
me.
over some of the
Yeah,
form
yeah,
videos?
yeah, go ahead. Just don't
Okay.
get scared of my outfit, ladies. I was being quite colorful that day, so.
Okay. Okay. So we'll do. Let me just try to. I'm gonna open them. So yeah. So I'm calling it Form Friday. So try to send it to me on Friday or on the weekend, so that we can analyze and improve your form. So let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. First one. Can you see this?
Yeah,
Can you just see that one video, or you see more?
Just
one.
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 Okay. So I'm gonna play it. Okay, so on this exercise, we're doing a Romanian deadlift. You want to have your feet a little bit closer together, so not so wide, a little more closer. So a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And I'll play it again. And you're going way
Way too
too
down.
far down. Yeah, so you want to stop. Well, let me try to stop it where you should stop.
Oh,
You see, if I could draw a line where you're, sorry,
Yeah.
my cursor's on your butt. I don't know, Sandra's not even here though, but
Yeah, she's here. She's here.
oh, you're here.
I'm
Oh, you
here.
can see. Oh,
I'm
you
just
still.
quiet.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just being,
So you
I'm
see
just
where
being
my
quiet.
cursor is? Okay. At the point where your butt stops hinging backwards. Like, so pretend there was a wall and your butt hits the wall.
Mhm.
That's the point that you're going to stop. Because if you keep going down, now you're working low back.
Yeah.
So Jill, Marlene's like saying, yeah, so because we corrected you on that one, right? So
Yeah.
from here, now you're going to go a little bit further down. You see how that whole part was low back. And this exercise, we want to work your hamstrings.
Okay.
So to protect your back, you might say, oh, my back hurts because you were going way too low. But great that we're having this video because now you can make the improvements. And yeah, so bring your feet in a little bit more closer together, so not so wide.
Hmm.
And let me see it again. You can have, yeah, you have a little bend in the knee, which is great. So I want you to think about squeezing your toes, okay? So you're going to start to feel when you do that, you're going to activate your hamstrings. And then it's good that you're keeping the dumbbells close to your body. That's good. But you see you went way too low at the end part. So my suggestion is redo that video and start to feel the difference that you're not like, working your low back as much.
Okay.
You can even use a wall and just like you'll see when your butt stops hinging, that's the spot. So
Hmm.
see,
Okay.
but your butt hadn't moved back anymore. So it's like there, yeah. So okay, so that was that one. So stop
Okay.
sharing. Did you? But that was really brave and thankful. Thank you that you shared it because everybody else can learn from that as well. Um, let's see. Okay, we're gonna show the front view. Just you might get a different angle. Share. So
Yeah,
now
I did both because I
that's
wanted you
fine.
to see.
Yeah, you see now you keep opening your legs a bit too much. So go a little bit more, just shoulder width apart, and you want to keep your neck neutral. Proud chest. So you want to keep your chest, shoulder blades pulled together. So you always keep that nice flat back. So that was good. And then the last one that you sent, let's see.
I think it was the same exercise, but from the side.
No, I think now you're
No, that.
no, the
Oh,
next
that was the same one that I just sent to. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
now you're giving the bent
Hmm.
over rows. Okay, let me share this last one. Where is it? Hold on. I don't know why it won't let me share. Hold on. Interesting. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so do you see this one here?
Uh-huh.
Now it's a little, I couldn't isolate it, sorry. So here we go. So now you see your form, your back is in a good position. I would want you to squeeze your toes again, but you don't need to row towards your chest. Try to row towards your hip here. Just like keep your elbows tucked in, but not so high. Row, keep it more of a neutral arm. So you want to row. Oops. You want to row towards your waist. And yeah, it's good that you're keeping your back straight. That's good. So I would just not row up here. I would row closer to your waist. And
Okay, so just not as high.
like, because you want to keep a neutral arm.
Okay.
You're working this big muscle, right? So your lat, so you want to pull it in. But if you're pulling it up here, you see, I'm kind of scrunching my shoulder up. So think about, I don't know if you could see me.
Oh yeah, I'm watching you, but I can't really see you that well. It's small.
Okay,
Uh,
so let me just,
Sorry.
okay. So you want to keep the shoulder down. So if your shoulder's up, I'm gonna row higher, right? But if your shoulder's pulled down away from your ear,
Hmm.
you're able to row in a neutral position and then squeeze it in.
Okay.
And that would be that. Like, but your back, your form on that one, your back was like a lot better than the Romanians in terms of you didn't go as far down.
Low.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sometimes people that have, so let's say you have low back issues, you can take an incline bench, because I know you're not training in your training room right now. You take an incline bench and lie face down, and then that gives you the support. You can put your knees where the butt is, lie face down, and pull that way. If that
Oh,
helps.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if guys, if you want to share more form videos, we can do that. And I can go over it on a Loom even and send that in the group. And then everybody learns, from one or two exercises. You guys have anything you're struggling with or any questions in the
I had
meantime?
a question to ask you. I think it's last week you guys talked about this, or maybe there was a form. I don't remember because I watched it on repeat, right? Something about somebody had posted a picture. I think you were doing chest press, and you were saying don't keep your back flat.
Oh,
Leave a little arch, right? Which is fine. But then you said when you're
tricep.
doing this exercise, you could keep your back flat. My
Okay.
question is this: is there a way that you can tell us which ones you can keep it flat, which ones you want the arch?
Okay, I'll tell you right now. When we're
Oh, okay.
working chest, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a small arc in your back. You want to think about the
Okay.
power position. So let's say you start to, when you're lifting lighter weights, it doesn't make a huge difference.
But that's when you go heavy.
When you're going heavy, you want to have that power position, right? So you're going to
Mm.
have the shoulder blades are braced. So you're
Yeah,
having the shoulder blades as a base,
yeah,
and your butt is on the bench, right? So you have your shoulders and your butt. Then you
yes,
have your feet that's also anchored down. So we're working chest. When you're working triceps,
right.
that's when you're doing a diamond press, we're
Yeah.
focusing more on triceps, or sometimes it's a parallel press. You want to focus more on tricep. We don't need to go into that power pull stance.
So you can go flat.
You don't have to go completely flat, but you could
Yeah.
get your back a little more flat. You're gonna incorporate more triceps because the tricep is a smaller muscle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay.
But guys, keep sending your form because sometimes you don't even know. Like you think, oh, I've been doing this right the whole time, but if we don't analyze it and talk about it, you'll never know. And like Marlene had these things that we fixed, and you're now able to recognize it, right? Which is really
Yeah.
cool, right?
Yeah.
Because you've shown me your videos and stuff. So
Mhm.
great job, guys. So I'll give you a high five. I didn't think of a challenge for this week. If you guys have anything that you'd like to work on, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. We can do one or we can not. Walk challenge, water, sleep. Anybody struggling with
Sleep.
sleep? Sleep challenge. A rest.
Always,
Yeah.
always, always.
Okay, we're gonna do it. If you're already crushing your sleep challenge, your sleep, then good for you. Let's try to increase your sleep. If you're struggling with sleep, and sometimes it could be just your hormones or it could just be stress, but if it's habits, because you're sometimes watching TV or you fall asleep on TV, we're going to challenge you this week to not do that. Get to bed. It's hard, you know, like it's hard to think, okay, it's 9:30, whatever time it is, depending on when you wake up. Okay, I gotta start wrapping up. But we're adults and we need our beauty sleep. I know I do. Like if I don't get it, I'm not functional. So all right, guys. Well, this is a great call. Great seeing your faces. Keep posting in the group. So this week we're gonna work on rest and recovery.
Perfect.
Good.
Bye, guys. For now.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you
Take
later.
care.
Bye.